Lake listeners. Thank you for coming back for more of the Grow, Thrive, Inspire podcast. Today, we are excited to have one of the pros here from the Jason Little All-Pro team, a winner of the Readers Choice Best Realtor at the Lake, and one of the fabulous under 40, Mr. Ethan Lee. Ethan, thanks so much for being here. We're so excited about you coming on this show.
Oh, thanks, Kaylin. I appreciate it. No, I'm excited to be here as well. Thank you.
So, Ethan, I just kind of wanted to begin with you kind of telling us about you. Where are you from, your family, what got you into real estate?
Yeah, so I'm from Osage Beach originally. I went to school in Camden. Graduated from Camden, went to Missouri Valley College, was there for 4 years on a football scholarship. Graduated with a business degree and a minor in economics. Had no idea what I was going to do when I got out of school, but had a couple different jobs, and oddly, I actually ran into Jason at the gym. I was at a job I wasn't super happy with, and Jason's was like a legend to every Camden football kid. So when I ran into him, I asked him, "Are you Jason Little?" And he's like, "Yeah." And we got to talking, and he's like, I'm just opening up a new company down here selling real estate. He's like, "Would you be interested in coming in for an interview?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So literally the next day, on my lunch break from my old job, I went over and interviewed with him, and he's like, "When can you start?" So 2 weeks later, I started working for Jason just as his personal assistant, and just learning the ropes of real estate in general, and that's pretty much how I started.
So you didn't get into, you started, as you said, like a personal assistant. So you did your exams and got your license a little bit later on then? Yes.
Yeah. So basically for him, I was just helping him follow up with different sellers. And I met him, or I actually went on a few showing appointments with him as well. Mm-hmm. And just kind of learning what he does, what he says, and doing little paperwork things and basically what a closing or listing coordinator would do. And I started studying took the class a month. It was about a month and a half afterwards. And once I got my license, I didn't really practice it a whole lot for at least 3 or 4 months in. But yeah, then I started selling about 6 months later.
That's super neat. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
What were some of the challenges that you faced when starting? What would you change if you could go back?
Yeah, so the challenge was, at least for me, it was just being young. So I was 22 years old. I was fresh out of college, and I was handling the most important investment of people's lives. And being a second home market, people had kids that were a lot older than me, and for them to trust me as their advisor to all their money and finding a vacation home, or even a first-time home buyer, full-time resident down here that's retiring, being young was the toughest. As far as what I would change, I was trying to think about that. There's not a whole lot I would change. When I started working with Jason, he got us through this Buffini program right off the start, and we listened and watched a lot of that. And I guess I probably could have done a little bit more of that if I had to change anything. Mm-hmm. But I'm more of a hands-on person, to where watching that and doing and studying scripts it helps, but it's not realistic for me. I'm more of a hands-on, and I like to go on the listing appointments with him or just any seasoned agent, and then go
capture that experience and practice it. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm more of a hands-on learner myself, so I have to be doing it for it to click.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a test taker by any means, so the real estate test was very hard for me.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Some people get it their first try. I'll admit it took me my third time to get it, so hey, it's okay. Just gotta keep doing it.
Yeah, I know that some of our broker owners, Jeff, he tells everybody that it took him a couple times even. So it's all kind of the different personalities and learning styles and stuff. But that's really cool to know.
Yeah,
So we keep
absolutely.
talking about the Jason Little All Pro team. That's the team that you joined, and you've been there now almost 8 years. Is that about right?
Yeah, so I started in August of 2012 with Jason,
Hmm.
and then
So
oh, go
what
ahead.
was that like to like join that, join his team and kind of consider yourself in that pro title? You know, what kind of pro would you classify yourself as?
Yeah, so so yeah, it was awesome when we first started, and we started out in a really small, a really small little room.
Mhm.
It wasn't uh, too much bigger than the office he's in, like his personal office that he's in right now. And it was me, him, and then a printer and like two other people that were in this little room. And but it was good. It was a really good experience. Just starting out, like I said, he, not only took me under his wing, but just everyone that we started with. He was a very good leader and someone to ask questions to, and real genuine. So I love starting out, and I still love being on this team. But as far as the pro, I started off. I was in martial arts. I was in Taekwondo since I was 5 years old. So at the time, I was still actually doing martial arts, but I kind of semi-retired now. But I did it for 22 years, and that was my pro. So on all my business cards, I actually had me kicking someone in the head on the back, but
That's
I took it off
awesome.
since.
You were teaching classes there for a while, weren't you? The
Yeah.
martial arts, and do you still do that? Do you still teach? Or?
No, no. I once, gosh, I think it was about 2015 or 16. I'd really started picking up. Actually, 15. I really started picking up real estate wise, and I just got to a point where I couldn't juggle it all at the same time. And my dad understood that because me and my dad ran the school together. We actually had it open
Oh,
for 15 years just ourselves.
wow, that's fantastic.
So yeah, I taught for a long time, and there's times I miss it, and other times I like. Actually, I still do really miss it. And eventually, once my kids get 4 or 5 years old, we're gonna start it back up again. I hope. Just do it kind of 2 days a week
Yeah,
type of
you
thing. So.
should. That would be great. I've actually considered putting because my boys are getting to the point where they're getting ready to, transition into all kinds of sports, and I've been seriously thinking about getting them in.
Oh yeah, it's so
So,
good for kids and even adults, but for kids, it teaches so much more than just self defense. Just the discipline, respect, never giving up.
mhm.
There's so much more to martial arts than just self defense, and that's a good aspect, obviously too. But yeah, and I think that's kind of where it helped me in real estate, even or just anything that I've done in life.
Well, I was just going to ask that question. Some of those skill sets, did you find yourself pulling some of those from your teaching background with that into kind of your business?
Yeah, yeah, I'd say martial arts is pretty detail oriented as far as if you can relate. We Jason, another thing that really helped me with Jason is he relates a lot of stuff to sports. So to me, that spoke a lot to how I could explain to people on detail oriented about looking at a certain house or looking at these details or just getting to know someone on their strengths and weaknesses, getting to know someone on what they need versus what they want. So yeah, I mean, as far as the aspect of just getting to know people, it really helps.
That's really cool. Well, keeping on the advice and kind of leadership skills, what advice and leadership skills have you acquired from Jason and Natalie on the All Pro team?
Yeah, so mainly just learning how he like talks to people and just generally takes a true interest in getting to know them. Um, as far as like leadership advice, that's, I mean, not just with your clients, but with your team in general. We're very like family oriented here. Uh, if someone's having a really awesome day or awesome month, we celebrate those victories. And when someone's not doing so good, we try to analyze and go over what we did wrong or what we could have done better. Um, so as far as like what he's taught me and stuff is just learning to invest in people.
Oh, wow. That's inspiring. And I like how you touched on the culture kind of your team too. That was kind of my next question is, you know, every team is a little different, but kind of similar. But, you know, how would you kind of describe that culture?
Yeah. So it's kind of the same thing. You know, we just, our culture, oh man, how do I explain it? Um, well, we have biweekly meetings, which in the past we haven't really done that a whole lot, but throughout the years we've learned that that's really helped, not just to go over stuff, but just to see what's going on in everyone's lives. Again, just hammering like investing in people and not just your buyers and sellers, but your team that you work with and see every day. Um, Celebrating the victories, analyzing the losses, and stuff to do better. I mean, that is kind of the main culture, and just staying super family oriented. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if like when a new agent comes on now, the whole team interviews them. So it's not just Jason making the decision. Every agent has a question, and if they think they're a good, we think they'd be a good fit, great. But if not, then might have another team, or hey, maybe you'd be better as a primary agent or whatever.
Well, I
I don't
think
know if that should go on the podcast or not, but
no, that's perfect. And I love how you said that you keep saying that he and your whole team kind of takes that mentality of investing in everyone on the team and also including everyone, because I love that saying where it goes back to like, you can't pour from an empty cup. And that is so important even in our industry. I mean, if your agents are struggling and you're a leader, even if you're not in that team leader position, you all kind of come together and make sure that if somebody can't pour from their empty cup, that you guys are refilling that cup for them. And I think that that's really powerful, especially when talking about leadership, for sure.
yeah, and it's not that if someone were to come by and like, hey, we just don't like them, that's not going to be what happened. Because if they get into the interview process, obviously there's an interest in the person, but it's just a matter of finding a good fit for them, whether it's going to be with this team, another team, or hey, you have the personality to just kill it on your own, why don't you do this, and we'll give you the tools to help you do that. And I think, and when Jason started implementing that, I thought that was amazing. And that's a huge leadership, what do you call it?
Quality.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Yeah, and I liked that too. So it's not just like ripping off the Band-Aid after the interview. Like the support just goes all the way through, no matter what the decision is. So that's
really part of why Remax is so awesome here too. Is just the culture of Remax in general, not just our team, but I feel like every team, and even the agents that are primaries, they're always included in everything. And I don't know, I like the whole culture in general.
Yeah, I do too. Wanted to kind of switch gears, kind of fast forward a little bit. And so you were recently named one of the fabulous under 40 for our area and Readers Choice Best Realtor at the Lake. So what was that like?
It was amazing. I mean, gosh, I've been doing this 8 years now. Never would I have dreamed to be in the position I'm in right now. I didn't even know anything. I knew zero about real estate coming in to when I first met with Jason. But to be a part of that high caliber of agents, and like when we all met to take the picture, just everyone that was there that does so well, and a lot of them even owned their own companies or brokerages or had an investment in the company, and it was just really cool to be a part of. Something I'll never forget, honestly.
Was it something that you knew was coming, or was it completely unexpected?
Completely unexpected.
Oh, fantastic.
The Readers Choice thing, I had an idea because it was vote based upon votes, and when I made top 5, I was like, oh man, I got a chance at this. And so I kind of had an idea on that, but I didn't think I was going to get that either, just because I don't know. But
so when you kind of got those recognitions, those awards, in your mind, what was your opinion or your thought for how you kind of got that recognition or awards? I mean, did anything kind of stick out above other things? For example, being like, you know, you're really strong with your clients, you're really great with holding deals together. I mean, did anything kind of just, oh, well, that was why I kind of got that recognition at the time, or was it just a mixture of kind of everything you were doing?
I think it's a little bit of a mixture of everything. It gave me a huge confidence boost to realize, like, and people actually really liked what I did for them at some point. And, you know, not just 1, 2, 5, 10 people. I mean, those votes are hard to get that numbers, because there's a lot of people that vote on those things and vote multiple times. And but yeah, I think a lot of it just comes back to just being relational with people, and them just you know, caring enough to take the time, even though it's only 10, 15 seconds to vote. You know, they still took the time to do it, and it's just a huge confidence booster to me. And I think that helps just getting to know them. And I'm at a stage in my career where I'm starting to get people call me back, or not call me back, but call me year after year just to see how things are going, or they have a friend that's looking to buy or sell, or a family member, or they just come to our client appreciation party that we hold every year, and just getting to touch base with them then. Yeah, just your sphere of influence of people is so important to maintain contact with, and that's how I feel like I've accomplished what I have.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm so happy for you. That is such an exciting, you know, recognition. And I hope that keeps going for you as well. I mean, you've worked really hard through those 8 years. So I can only imagine, like you said, where it was just like a shock almost, but it definitely was a confidence booster.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure.
Another like mentoring thing I wanted to touch on was I saw you at our Tech in Touch event last year with Jason, giving a presentation in front of over, I don't know, like 500 agents in our region. First of all, I just absolutely love that event that our region puts on in Kansas City. I like on the previous year before last year's when you talk, and that was such an incredible moment. I know personally myself, I watched people give those presentations on those screens, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, what an honor that is. So what was that like? What like kind of inspired you to be that mentor and go up there with Jason? That was really cool.
Well, to be honest, that was the most, hands down, I've done a lot of competitions. That was probably the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done in my life.
Really?
I felt like there was 10,000 people in that room. You know, because I've gone to the Tech and Touches a couple years prior to, and then the people that speak up there, they don't speak for 30 minutes. They're up there for like an hour to an hour and a half.
Yes.
And granted, I know I wasn't going to speak for that long, but between Jason and I, we are like not techie people at all. So to go up and talk to people that are wanting to learn about technology, it was like, what am I going to talk about? It was a great experience getting to, I don't know how many, like as soon as I left that day, I got, I don't know, probably 100, close to 100 Facebook friend invites from just the people there, just saying how good of a job that we both did. And completely honestly, I did not think I did that great. But I guess some people got something out of it, and I'm very happy for that. But yeah, just the whole experience, I was so nervous, and Jason, he was nervous too. I don't know if he admitted it. He probably would, but he was nervous too. But I told him I would do it if he wanted me to be there. So I'm not going to say no to that. So
I was going to say, now that you've kind of done it and it's in your tool belt, would you do it again?
Probably not.
Really? Hey, no.
I would if it was maybe not a Tech and Touch deal. If it was something else I could speak at, just kind of like how we're doing right now. Just from my background of kind of how I started and stuff, I think anyone can do it. It's just, you just got to have your heart in it. And yeah, I don't mind talking.
Mentor through your experience and stuff, maybe have a little better foundation on the topic. Yeah.
Instead of doing like the techie stuff, because gosh, there's a couple guys there that are just amazing, and you'll leave those events with like pages of notes, and
I know I
feel
do.
like it's nuts. But
Yeah.
and I'm not like that. I'm not any techie. I'm pretty basic and how I stay organized and do all that stuff. So.
Well, and that's kind of what I want to switch gears to next with you, Ethan, is you have been known to be a really organized agent in our company. Where do you get your discipline to kind of hold your deals together and stay on top of things, stay organized?
Yeah, so kind of there's a few different things that I do. Keep it very simple off the start is I have 3 whiteboards in my office. One of my whiteboards is my closing board. I try to keep it as full as possible all the time, but I have the people's names, the price point, the day it went under contract, and then I've got when inspections are due, financing is due, title work is due, earnest money, title company, and close date. So it's simple, and I add on there if there's certain notes that I need, but it's just a visualize that I can, before I leave every day, I can look at it, or I take a picture of it before I leave. That way I can kind of remind myself of when my deadlines are.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of my other boards is my buyer's board. So my super hot buyers that are looking for properties, I have them up there. And with low inventory right now, it's important to like look at that board often and just kind of keep an eye on something that's out there, because the automated stuff that you can send to clients and people do is great, so nothing slips through the cracks. But if something's coming up prior to going on the market, it's nice to have that buyer board there to be like, okay, this person's looking for this. Could this be a potential of a place that they would like? And then the third board I've got kind of tracks my my yearly stats of how many houses were sold that month, that year, and then also on that same board is listings, every listing that I've got, just to keep it in front of me again, just to always look at it and just have a reminder of what you got going on. And then also my calendar on my phone is my lifeline. If I didn't have that, I don't know what I'd do. That's so important to keep on, and as soon as you get off the phone, if you've got an appointment to set, just put it in your phone immediately, and I just set reminders. So nothing fancy there. And then as far as like new incoming buyers and sellers, we have a lead generation system that we have. Ours is called Sync, and anyone that's like looking for a certain type of home, they go into a database, and that's basically our main database is that, and we plug people into there, what they're based upon, what they're looking for. Write notes of how our conversation went, and then it keeps track of everything.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And then, what else? I'm sure there's a couple other things I'm just not.
When you do your whiteboards, and you kind of get everything complete off your whiteboards, do you cross it out or do you erase it? Or, I mean, because I'm that person with my calendar, I like to physically like check things off.
Yeah. So on my closing board at the bottom right hand corner, I've got a yearly goal, and I've got where I'm currently at. So as far as volume and transactions, so to be able to like add up, that's why I have the price on there. So I add it up to where I'm at versus my goal, and it's very satisfying to see that number rise, just like you would cross off of a sheet of a to-do list, which I do. That was another thing. I've got sticky notes of the most important things on my computer. So then when I get done with that, I can cross it off. But yeah, there's something about like that satisfaction of being able to cross something off or add it to your goal board is nice.
It is really nice. I am also a person who cannot function without my calendar as well. And I will never forget the first time that my family saw my calendar on my phone, because like I color code, different things. So like my calendar is just like massively
like 20 events on one day.
Yeah, on one day. And they're just like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, listen, if you don't put it on the calendar, it doesn't happen. So yeah. I relate to that as well. That's really cool.
Sure.
Did you carry your whiteboards to your home as well?
No. I just take pictures of it on my phone. that's the easiest way, because I do take my computer home pretty much every night. So if something comes up, which it normally does, especially this time of year, I just look at it on my phone and see what I need to get done. And yeah.
That's great. I love it. So speaking of being organized as well, you are also kind of known for being an incredibly detailed, agent, like we were saying, and you have a detailed daily routine. So can you walk us through kind of what your day or daily routine looks like, especially when, considering like newer agents who are starting out?
Yeah. So my day, the first thing I do in the morning is I get up and I go work out. It's kind of if I don't work out in the beginning of the day, whether it's for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, anything, just to get kind of I get recharged, gets my adrenaline pumping. So whether you're running, lifting weights, doing something just to get your mind off of real estate for an hour. That's so important.
What time is that? Like, what time are you getting up to work out?
Well, here lately in the summertime, I'm going to bed late because I'm working on contracts and stuff and trying to get stuff ready to go for the next day. Typically, I try to get up about like 5:45, 6 o'clock, and get to the gym by 6:30 or 7. Nowadays, I'm usually about 6:30 to 7 o'clock, get to the gym by between 7 and 7:30, and work out anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, and then go home, eat breakfast, and then head to the office right away. And then once I get to the office, I go through all my emails from that night and the morning, and I just try to knock all those out. And usually that takes me a little bit longer because I'm getting like calls and texts about something else in the meantime. So, but once I can get through my email list, I feel accomplished because now I can get started on whatever I'm doing that day. And as far as just staying in detail, like if I just went under contract on a house yesterday, I want to get everything that I have to do done. So I want to make sure I'm getting all my paperwork to the closing coordinator, to the lender, or the title company, depending on how your office works. Mine is getting it to the closing coordinator and the lender. And then getting inspections done, making sure they know where to give earnest money, and then I follow up with an email to the client as soon as possible. That way, a week down the road, I'm not like struggling to get an earnest check from them when I've got 2 days left to go. So I try to get everything hammered out like immediately when I have something to do. I don't put it off, because if I put it off and I put it on my calendar for 1 o'clock the next day to do, I'm going to typically be so busy I'll forget it and I'll just miss it. So just get it done right away and just do it. But yeah. And then so after I go through my day, if I don't have any more showings or appointments that day, go home, spend time with my kids. When I go home and spend time with my kids, I try my best to stay off my phone for a couple hours, no matter how serious the deal is, because there's only so much time that I've got with them when I'm at work and when they go to bed.
Absolutely.
And then usually when they go to bed, if I need to, I'll hop back on my computer at night, get it knocked out, and get ready for the next day. But
that's great. Yeah, I am pretty intentional as well, separating that. And I'm also kind of a big fan of not showing my kids that I'm on my phone all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that there is power of being able to put that down.
It's hard to do because if you're a hard worker and you got a good work ethic, which I feel like if you're working for Remax, everyone's got a good work ethic because we're so full time, and it's hard to turn it off. So, but you really need that time with your family, and even if you don't have kids, just with your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend. It's so important to have that time because that's more important than work is at the end of the day. So
absolutely. Can you kind of explain why time management and just being intentional kind of is important?
Yeah, so time management's important because we don't have enough time. That's just bottom line. when you first start off in real estate, you're getting kind of bombarded with trying to learn everything. So you're feeling like your time is limited there at times. But as you go on through the seasons of, learning and getting better and getting busier, if you don't have time management locked in, you're going to forget things. You're going to be more depressed. You're not going to be as happy. You're going to start to hate your job. It's all things that I've experienced and I've seen other people experience, and it's not a fun place to be in. So time management is important to set out those times, not just for work, but for vacation or date night, or, hey, we're going to go to the park this afternoon with your kids. If you're working 7 days a week, take a day off on Tuesday or Wednesday in the afternoon to hang out with your kids and just tell your clients you have an appointment. Because you do. It's not lying to them. You do have an appointment set with your family. So time management is super important. And that's one thing Jason stresses to us. Like, if you're going to work 7 days a week, you better be taking some time off in the afternoon, or at least try to get at least one day off, because it'll run. You can do it for so long, but then it'll wear you down over time. And it's
like lead to like a burnout type thing.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And I've seen that happen a lot with not any particular agents within our company. I mean, some, but other outside agents, and they end up just not liking real estate, and they're like, well, it's just not for me.
Well, and I think I can attest to that as well. I mean, because I was just like you, Ethan. I got into this and I didn't even know what the real estate industry was about at all. But then once you kind of get in on your first week, you start realizing that every single day, you're getting hit with different types of things that a lot of people don't really understand or know how to deal with. So it kind of, I imagine it like a roller coaster day to day, because you're not really sure what's going to come to the table or come over your phone or come through email. So you have to be very disciplined and kind of practice good time management skills, or else you do get lost in that shuffle.
Yeah, I mean, you could literally do something every minute of every day if it's real estate involved. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I could work every minute, but I don't want to. I mean, there's a time to work 10, 12-hour days, but there's also a time to, work a 3 to 4 hour day or just take a day off. I mean, everyone needs a day off to recharge. And that's part of my recharge process, is working out in the morning. That's kind of my recharge moment. If I don't get that time, it throws my whole day off, and I'm in a bad mood or I'm just not as productive with my day. So.
Yeah, I can attest to that. My coffee time in the morning is kind of my time, and I like to read. I get up a little earlier and drink coffee and read, and that's kind of like my recharge.
Mind right. Yep. Yeah. Everyone has a certain way of getting their mind right, and whoever gets involved in the real estate business has to find out what that niche is, whether it's reading or listening to music or running, whatever. But I think it's so important to have that daily routine in the morning of just getting up, and it's got to be somewhat early too. It can't be like 10 o'clock. That's got to be somewhere between like 5 and 8 to get going. Because if you get too far in the day, then you start to get behind with everything else in the day, which I've done before. I mean, it happens, but
yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that. One other thing that I've noticed, we all follow each other on social media and things like that. So I've been seeing a lot of your team and also where you guys are doing a great thing about making sure to post your client testimonials and things like that you get. And I see a lot of that from you on your page and your team's page. But what do you do to kind of build those relationships with your clients? I mean, what's kind of your favorite thing as far as when you're meeting your clients for the first time and you're initially trying to set up that win-win? What does that kind of look like with you?
It just goes back to just getting to know them. Whenever I first meet someone, there's not a whole lot of personal engagement. We got to make sure that we click together, for one, because there's a lot of times where, I'll meet someone and I can just kind of tell it's like high tension and it's just not going to be a good fit. It's not necessarily that they're bad people. It's just not a good fit for to help them out the best way possible. So just getting to know them, learning what they like, what they don't like, not just real estate wise, just in general. If they have kids, where they came from, because most people are coming from other states, not just surrounding states, but further away.
Do you feel like that kind of helps because you're local here and you have been for such a long time? I'm sure that
it helps a lot.
I was going to say, I'm sure that you kind of point out different great things about the area and.
Yeah, so it does help me a lot. I know there's a lot of agents that didn't grow up here and have that advantage. But at the same time, like that's what I use as my advantage is, hey, I grew up here. I know the area really well. I've seen a lot of change. And it helps me as far as like showing value to my clients. And I think with people that aren't from here, they've got to show their value in a different way, whether it be, I don't know, just they've come from a certain area, like, oh man, over here that does this, and but here we, does it this way, which I really like. So that's how I kind of spin it to my advantage. So just using your advantages on what makes you you and how you can set yourself apart from another person.
That's great.
But,
so
yeah. And then just stay in contact with them. Try to, if you like them, add them on Facebook and just make comments on stuff that happens. Like if they're having an anniversary or if they have a birthday, just a quick happy birthday goes a long ways for people. And then just staying in contact with them. It's hard to stay in contact with everyone all the time, but every once in a while, if you drive by their house that you sold them, shoot them a quick text or say, hey, just drove by, was thinking of you, hope you guys are doing well. Those little things go a long ways. There's many other things you can do, like personal notes and pop-bys and stuff like that, but just a simple text is very impactful.
I love that advice. And I like how you brought up, social media, being able to stay active on social media with just liking and posting on their, life posts that they make every day. And I kind of want to debunk you a little bit because you say that, your tech skills are not necessarily like on point. However, in my opinion, you make great video content and have a great presence. So I kind of wanted to ask, like, where do you get your ideas from? You've done some great listing videos and everything in the past couple weeks, even a month, and they've been so fun to watch. So where are you getting that inspiration from?
Gosh, I could not do it without Nathan.
Yeah.
Our marketing guy is awesome. Nathan does a great job. He takes his time. He doesn't ever make you feel rushed. And I don't know, he just does he makes me look good. I'm telling you, it's not me a lot of the times. He works with me, and there's a lot of behind the scene cuts that he does. I bet he's got hours of film of me messing up, but he spins it to where it looks good. So I give him a ton of credit for that. As far as like my other videos, on the tech side of it, not just those listing videos, but with clients that are out of town, and whether it's a fast-paced market or not, it just so happens to be in this year in 2020, our market is quick and the inventory is low, so people are from out of town. They can't get down here fast enough to see a property. So I'll run and shoot a video just on my phone, walk through the house. And how I do it is I upload it into Google Drive, and then I share the links with them on the property so that they can see a true walk through, like they're walking through the house, especially if it's something that just came on the market or is going up that day. I can show them that video to where they can get an idea if they need to make a flight down here or drive through the night to come see it, or if they just want to offer sight unseen. I mean, we've seen a lot of that this year too. So
yeah, we have. That's
kind of those are the main techie things that I do. But yeah, Nathan, he's amazing. I couldn't do it without him.
Yeah, big shout out to Nathan, who also helps with this podcast too. So I totally understand how that is with him. You're great, Nathan. Shout out to you.
Yeah. Shout out.
So, what would you say to a newer agent who is maybe afraid to try and make video or be a part of social media? more, and not as much of an active way, what would you kind of say to them as advice?
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking because I don't know. I really don't know well, I know a couple people. I don't really know anyone that loves to look at themselves and hear themselves talk.
Mm-hmm.
So you really look how you look and you sound how you sound. So if you can get over that, you'll do fine. And it doesn't necessarily always have to be about real estate stuff. If you're just popping on to see how their weekend was, or to just tell them about your great experience at a restaurant that you had, or down here at the lake. I mean, just little things like that shows a lot of value, and people get to know you that way, and they don't go from such a business mindset. They want to kind of know you on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
So video is so much stronger than just going on there and saying that you've got this house listed and so on. But if they can really see the real you when you're not in front of them like a normal market is huge. And you just got to get over that mindset of, oh, I hate how I sound or what I look like.
Mm-hmm.
Just it is what it is. They're going to see you eventually. So
Right. Yeah, that's kind of the advice I give on that to some agents who attend our training classes is, eventually you're going to be in front of them the same way. Like it's different. So
the only difference is you can re-record. It's
yeah.
not that big of a deal. I mean,
Yeah.
don't spend your whole time re-recording it, because the more perfect you make it, the more unrealistic it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's times where you do mess up and lose your train of thought, but at the same time, just roll with it and be like, I totally lost my train of thought, but now I'm back. Okay. And then you go through it. So
be real.
yeah.
Well, I have just a couple more questions, and they're more just kind of fun questions, especially for our lake listeners on here, especially for our lake listeners that may have not been here yet at the lake. So kind of some fun questions I like to get different answers to. First question, what is your favorite place to eat here at the lake, food and drink?
Okay. So my favorite place to eat, gosh, I'd probably have to say Baxter's. I love Baxter's. The whole setting there is really nice. It could be a fancy setup, or it could be a super relaxed setup. Reasonably priced, get good portions. I love Baxter's. That's probably my favorite place to eat. To go get drinks, I like going to pretty much the lake restaurants for going out for drinks and just hanging out by the pool. So Dog Days is probably one of my top picks if I had to choose one. Whether it's just going in for a quick appetizer, or if I'm going there with friends, or even there with my daughter to go to the pool. That's probably my two favorite spots.
Well, big shout out to Baxter's and Dog Days. I know I love those places too. They are super great.
Yep. There's a couple other places. I hate just to point out one, but yeah,
it's a hard question because
it is tough. I really like Papo's Pizzas, the bomb. There's a bunch of hidden gems here that people don't really know that's around that I really like. But yeah,
that's great. So, a couple more questions at the end of each episode. I like to have fun with these three-parters. So, first one: where is an area of your life or in your business where you would like to grow more in?
An area in my life. I'm gonna have to come back with you on that one. I was trying to really dive into that. I'm a workaholic, so I like to work, but that can be a problem sometimes because I need that time with my wife and kids. So if I had to work on anything, it would be, again, that's where time management comes in. Just being able to have just a little bit more time with my wife and my daughters as they grow up, because it goes so quick.
It does go quick.
Yeah, so that would probably be the spot I'd want to grow in a little bit more, is my time management with my family other than just working.
I love that answer because I relate to that. I feel like I'm also kind of what they would label a workaholic. I love, my job and what I do, and especially now that I get to do cool stuff like this. But
Yeah.
I'm almost, and I'm sure that you're probably somewhere, I almost like if I take, a time off in an afternoon or something, like it almost like makes me feel guilty
Guilty?
where I'm just
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
I know. I do feel super guilty sometimes. Like if I'm at the pool with my family and I'm like, my phone rings, I'm like, oh, do I run over there and go get it, or do I just enjoy my time because I've only got an hour with them or 2 hours or whatever. So it's tough, and it's something that as an agent or anyone that works in real estate related industry just has to be able to turn off sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. Okay. In what area, personal or business, are you currently thriving in right now? Just in your opinion.
Yeah. So in my business, I started off this year pretty slow, and every agent I feel like goes through a roller coaster ride of when my next deal is going to be coming through.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the beginning of this year for me. And between like April up to today, starting in April, it's been crazy busy. I've got a lot of repeat clients coming back, whether they want to upgrade or they want to sell, or they've referred a friend to me or a family member. Like between the last couple of months, that's where all of my business has been coming from, and rarely any of my like lead generation. Or there is some lead gen stuff that's coming through, but I haven't focused a whole lot of time on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's been mainly my sphere of influence, which has been great. I mean, it's so much easier to work with someone that wants to work with you than try to um,
Like
prove
force
your
that.
value,
Yeah.
which I love to do. Don't get me wrong, but it's so nice to just, when people like to work with you, you want to
Yeah,
work
you
with them.
already kind of know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and plus you're getting to work with new people too because you're on your referrals.
Mm-hmm.
You're just knowing more and more people, and I love meeting people. So
That's great. Okay, last one.
yep.
What inspires you?
Uh, so um, I so one of the things that when I started real estate is I wanted to be able to. The harder I worked, the more I could make if I wanted to, or the less I worked, being able to have some sort of not necessarily residual income, but just something along those lines of being able to work hard to accomplish more.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the reasons that inspired me to do real estate. Another thing is I really wanted to make an impact in people's lives, whether it be buying their first home or buying their vacation home or buying a retirement home. In some way impacting their life, or selling the house that they've struggled to sell, or getting them the value that they didn't think they could achieve. Being an impact in people's lives is amazing feeling to have. This, down to the smaller deals, whether it's you're selling a lot for someone buying or building their dream home on, like that is satisfying to me, and I love that. But I feel like the real estate industry has kind of a stigma on it to where people have had some bad experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first joined with Jason, one of the first things he says is, I want to change that. I don't want people to look at us and be like, oh, it's just another real estate agent trying to get my money.
Mm-hmm.
And I never wanted to make anyone feel like that. So a lot of what my inspiration comes is from that, like trying to change the industry's eye, or the people's eye on our industry, just to say that
Like
we're
that
not all
label.
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not all the same. And I would say that's probably, between those three things, that's probably my biggest inspirations.
Yeah, those are great. I love those too. And I agree with that label. I love breaking that barrier as well, through working with you guys personally every day. That's really inspiring.
There's a lot of people, especially on social media, that will just dog on realtors because they can, and they don't have to show their face. They won't do it in front of you. Most of them won't. But they feel confident on social media to do that. And, that's fine. That's people's opinion, but we want to be able to show value to people, and know that it's not just about the money. And I think that's so important to have that mindset of getting into real estate, because if you're just all about the money, you're most likely not going to last very long, or you'll just get burnt out of it because it's not easy. Real estate is not easy to do. I think it takes a particular person to do it, and you've got to have people's best interest in mind to truly be happy at what you're doing.
Jump in with both feet, not look back, kind of thing.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, Grow, Thrive, Inspire listeners, we could not be more impressed or more thankful to Ethan for bringing his ideas here and sharing it with us. We have more episodes coming, so be sure to tune back in on Wednesdays and like and subscribe to our page for the latest updates. Be sure to also check out our RE/MAX Lake of the Ozarks Facebook page for any open houses coming up. We like to post those on Thursdays before the upcoming weekend. We know that this lake is awesome, and we hope that we can help you love it even more. And remember to always grow, thrive, and inspire, both personally and professionally. We'll see you soon.